A real vision and precognitive dream to solve the coming dark future. The darkness surrounding to destroy. A real story fairy tale.
Mr. and Mrs. Frank were a small, loving family who longed for a child. Mrs. Frank, with hope in her heart, visited a temple and prayed fervently to God, asking for the blessing of a baby. Not long after, on the auspicious day of the festival celebrating Lord Krishna, their prayers were answered. In the early hours of sunrise, a beautiful baby girl was born into their family. Filled with joy, her parents lovingly named her Lily. As time passed, tragedy struck the Frank family. Mrs. Frank, who had been unwell for some time, eventually succumbed to her illness, leaving behind her husband and daughter Lily. One day, while walking through the village, Lily encountered an astrologer. With an air of mystery, he said to her,
"You were born on the 9th according to the moon sign calendar. This is a powerful and extreme number, and your life will resemble that of goddess Sita from Hindu mythology." Lord Sita was the wife of Lord Rama, but she endured great suffering. She was held captive for many years by the king of demons, and even after her release, she was betrayed by her own people. Overcome with grief, she cried out to the goddess of the earth. In response, a massive earthquake shook the land, creating a deep chasm. Lord Sita, heartbroken, leapt into the pit and disappeared into the earth forever. The astrologer gazed intently at Lily and continued, "Your life will follow a similar path, marked by trials and the presence of a great evil. But fear not, for a prince-like figure will come to your aid, rescuing you with the power of love."
Lily felt a chill of fear run through her at the astrologer's words. Trying to remain calm, she assured him, "I will be careful." After leaving the astrologer, she hurried home and told her sister about the ominous prediction, still feeling a lingering sense of unease. Since childhood, Lily had been plagued by recurring dreams of the same evil figure. The dark presence would whisper to her, "One day I will torture you." The dreams felt all too real, with the figure always warning that he would one day manifest in the real world. These nightmares haunted her, but as Lily grew older, she tried to push them aside. When she became a senior in high school, Lily moved into the school hostel. It was during this time that something strange and terrifying happened. Lily, who often studied late into the night, set her alarm clock for 10:30 p.m. one evening.
It was 4 p.m. when she placed the clock on a table by the glass window, preparing for her study session later. That night, the power went out, plunging the hostel into darkness. She turned the face of the alarm clock toward a faint glow coming through her window from a house on the other side of the riverbank. Just as she managed to make out the time, the light from across the river abruptly went out. Lily froze. Her eyes locked onto the now dark window, and there, hovering above the house, was the ghost from her nightmares. The figure looked exactly as it had in her dreams, terrifying and skeletal. It floated about a foot off the ground, draped in a tattered knee-length black leather coat and ragged pants that reached down to its feet. Its face was a horrifying skull with gleaming, sparkling eyes, and two bone-like horns jutted out from each side of its mouth. Gathering all her strength, she grabbed her legs with both hands and pulled, finally managing to stumble back to her bed. Desperate for protection, she crawled under her mosquito net, hoping it would keep the evil at bay. As folklore suggested, ghosts couldn't pass through mosquito nets. Heart-pounding, Lily prayed to every god she could think of, her eyes darting nervously around the room. She remained perfectly still, waiting, dreading the possibility that the ghost would enter her room. A picture of a god Krishna sat on the table opposite her window, the same table where her alarm clock rested. Every day, Lily had prayed to that god, lighting candles in devotion. She believed it was this divine presence that kept the ghost from crossing into her space.
By morning, the terror of the night still fresh, Lily packed her things and left the hostel. She went to stay at her aunt's house, following the astrologer's advice, hoping to escape the evil that seemed to be closing in on her.
One evening, after finishing her math class, Lily started her walk home as the sky darkened. The road was quiet, with a large pond on one side and a temple dedicated to Lord Krishna nearby. As she walked past the temple, an elderly man, a religious figure from the temple, suddenly shouted harshly at her.
"You, come here immediately," he demanded in a gruff voice. Lily, startled and a little frightened, hesitated before asking, "Are you talking to me?" "Yes, you," the old man snapped, his voice urgent. "Come now, to the side of the pond and into the temple." The old man looked at her gravely and said, "There's a shabby big ghost. It was jumping and walking behind you. We saw it."
Lily's heart raced as fear swept through her. She instinctively moved closer to the old man for protection. Sensing her terror, he reassured her,
"We're here and we'll protect you. Nothing will happen."
The old man quickly performed a protective ritual, chanting a spell to Lord Krishna over a small bronze cup filled with water. He then sprayed the water over Lily, offering her a sense of relief.
"It's getting dark," he said. "Go home quickly and tell your parents what happened."
Lily didn't waste a moment. She ran all the way home, her legs barely able to keep up with her rising panic. When she finally arrived, breathless and shaken, she told her father everything.